We spend our entire lives fighting a force we can't even see. It keeps our oceans in their beds, our feet on the ground, and it makes sure that what goes up, well, you know the rest. But what if, for just 10 seconds, that fundamental rule of our world decided to take a break? Let's dive into the absolute chaos that would cause.
So what if that force that pulls us down suddenly started to push us up? Not forever, not even for a minute, just 10 seconds. No warning, no countdown. One moment, everything's normal. The next, the entire planet just lets go.
This fascinating and, let's be honest, terrifying thought experiment actually comes from one of you, a viewer named Alex. It's such a simple question, right? But it spirals into a pretty serious physics problem with some, well, catastrophic consequences.
Okay, so let's be super clear about what this means. This isn't about floating peacefully in 0G, like an astronaut. No, this is an active upward force. The Earth is now pushing everything away with the exact same force it normally uses to hold us here. Think about two magnets with the same poles facing each other. That powerful, invisible push. Now imagine that force is between you and the 6 sextillion-ton planet under your feet.
So here's how we're going to break down this 10-second apocalypse. We'll start with the question itself, then walk through the first second, the upward acceleration, what happens to the planet itself, the snapback, and finally, the Great Fall.
It's kind of funny when you think about it. Every moment of our lives is a quiet struggle against Earth's pull. Every time you stand up, you are technically winning a fight against an entire planet. But we totally take that fight for granted.
We just rely on gravity. It's so constant we barely even notice it. But what happens when that reliable, gentle pull transforms into a violent upward shove? Let's find out.
The moment gravity flips, there's no explosion, no warning sound. The first sensation is just strange. It's this quiet, disorienting weirdness that comes right before the violence. At first, you just feel lighter. Your feet stop pressing into the floor. Then, loose items, papers on your desk, pens, dust, they all start to drift upwards. It might almost seem magical for a split second until the ground completely lets go. You feel this jolt as you are launched. You don't even have to jump. Your own muscles, which are conditioned to push against gravity, now send you flying. And this isn't some gentle float. Within that single first second, everything that's not bolted down is already rocketing upward at 9.8 meters per second. That's over 20 miles an hour. It's a bizarre thought, isn't it? Any instinct to jump for safety would only speed up your trip into the sky. It's a truly unique and truly terrible situation.
After that first strange second, the situation escalates from odd to violent with terrifying speed. We're no longer drifting, we're literally being fired into the air.
I mean, the numbers here are just staggering. By the 2-second mark, you're already as high as a 5-story building, moving at 44 miles an hour. Just 3 seconds later, at the 5-second mark, you're over 120 meters up and accelerating past 100 miles an hour. For anyone who's inside, the consequence is immediate and it's brutal. The impact with the ceiling wouldn't be a soft bump. It would be a sharp, incompressible shock. Everything on Earth is built to handle weight pushing down, not up. So the key thing to realize here is that our entire frame of reference is destroyed. There is no more up. The sky is now the hard surface that everything is falling toward. And you are definitely not alone up there. The air fills with this chaotic mess of debris. People, cars, whole trees being uprooted, furniture, shattered glass. And yes, according to the source material's wonderful specificity, variety meats and even your neighbor's molasses storage tank. The sky has become a high-speed blender and everything on the surface is an ingredient. Okay, let's pull the camera back for a wider view and see how this all builds. This isn't just a problem for people and objects. This is a planetary event. The Earth itself starts coming apart at the seams. Perhaps the most terrifying image of all is what happens to the oceans. The water isn't anchored, so it begins to rise, not in a wave that crashes, but as a single continuous sheet of water detaching from the planet and accelerating toward the sky. Billions of tons of water all at once. This triggers the complete failure of our infrastructure. Bridges, designed to support weight from above, buckle and fail when they're pushed from below. Dams crack, power lines snap. Up in orbit, satellites are no longer held by gravity and they just start to drift away, which means communication and GPS are gone instantly. And in the midst of all this planetary chaos, it's
Comforting, I guess, to know that some priorities remain. I can just imagine the International Niagara Committee would have some very sternly worded emails to send about the unauthorized upward flow of water.
Okay, we've reached the 10-second mark. Gravity remembers which way is down and instantly snaps back to normal. You might think, phew, the problem is over, but physics isn't finished with you yet. This is where it gets much, much worse.
At the exact moment gravity returns, you are nearly half a kilometer in the air. That's taller than the Empire State Building, and you are still traveling upward at about 220 miles per hour.
So here's the crazy, counterintuitive part. Gravity is now pulling you down, sure, but it first has to cancel out all that upward momentum. That means you continue to coast upward for another 10 seconds, reaching a peak height of almost a full kilometer, and only then do you begin to fall.
Everything that was launched into the sky is now at its peak, and all of it is about to come crashing back down, creating a series of impacts on a truly global scale.
We also can't forget about the air itself. During the reversal, the atmosphere was pulled upward, which thinned it out into a near vacuum at the surface. When gravity snaps back down, all that air rushes back down violently, creating global shock waves, hurricane-force winds, and probably rupturing eardrums worldwide.
And what about those oceans we saw lifting off? Well, they're now a kilometer high. The return isn't a tsunami hitting a coastline. It is the entire sky over the ocean collapsing at once, a continental-scale downpour of unimaginable force.
So who makes it through this? Survival is random. People deep underground, maybe. Some people in reinforced, low-rise buildings. Animals that can cling to surfaces. Ironically, some astronauts might be totally fine. But our interconnected, modern civilization, it doesn't recover. Infrastructure isn't just damaged. It's been picked up, shuffled around, and dropped incorrectly.
The Earth itself will be fine. 10 seconds isn't long enough to crack the crust or strip away the atmosphere. The planets endured far worse. For the Earth, this event was simply being picked up and then dropped. For us, it was the end of everything.
And that really brings us to the final takeaway. Gravity works not because it's so strong, but because it is so reliable. It's an agreement that the universe makes with us every single second. So to answer Alex's question, what if gravity reversed for 10 seconds? It would be a brutal, planet-wide reminder that our entire world is built on a promise, and 10 seconds is all it takes to break it.